The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. 5 more suspects in the murder of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo have surrendered to authorities. So far, 10 suspects, 9 of whom are former members of the military, are now under government custody. The manhunt, though, continues for 5 to 6 other suspects who remain at large. Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya is confident they will soon be able to determine the mastermind behind the assassination.
After the operation, nakapag-safe house pa sila, nakapunta pa sila sa ibang lugar, at doon sila kinausap pa sa ibang lugar. Kaya merong tumulong sa kanila. We expect that the evidence will turn up already against the masterminds in a few days. There will be a lot of revelations that we expect to happen.
Meanwhile, the Degamo family lawyer Levito Baligod said they are considering filing cases against Congressman Arnie Teves. Teves, a known political rival of the Degamos, are now facing multiple charges over loose firearms and a string of murders back in 2019.
Of course. I do not want to prejudge what the prosecutor will see in the evidence. No? Basta we are just supplying the evidence to the NBI DOJ.
The House of Representatives has imposed a 60-day suspension on Congressman Arnie Teves. 292 lawmakers voted in favor of the suspension, as recommended by the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges. This is due to the expiration of the congressman's travel clearance, his continued absence despite orders to return to the country, and, quote, disorderly behavior that tarnished the lower chamber's integrity. Teves earlier defended his reluctance to return, citing threats to his life. However, President Bongbong Marcos assured the congressman that security would be provided even as he has yet to receive intel about the said threats.
The only advice I can give to Kong Arnie is that habang tumatagal ito, mas nagiging mahirap ang sitwasyon mo. So, mas maaga kang makauwi, mas marami pang opsyon ang mangyayari. Pero pagka masyado nang late, wala na, mapipilitan ng gobyerno. We will have to move without any discussions with him.
In a new video message, Teves says he is inclined to heed the president's call to return to the country.
Kung kayo na ang humiling na umuwi ako, mas mahihirapan ako humindi dahil mas may authority kayo makabigay ng proteksyon sa akin.
Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya, however, remained unfazed and told Teves to drop the dramatics and return home.
It's a lot of drama, no? Umuwi na lang siya kung meron siyang pag-aalilangan. He should just go home. Tama na yung arte. Masyado siya maarte.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here in One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. 4 new sites under the country's enhanced defense cooperation agreement with the U.S. have been identified. President Bongbong Marcos said these will be strategically located in different parts of the country. However, he refused to disclose the locations as the matter is still being finalized with Washington. Marcos Jr. added that they have already smoothened things out with LGUs that oppose the sites.
So there are 4 extra sites scattered around the Philippines. There are some in the north, there are some around Palawan, there are some further south. So iba-iba talaga. It's really to defend our eastern coast.
Meanwhile, the president said the previous administration's order mandating the full devolution of basic services from the national government to LGUs is not an alternative to Chacha. He notes that the push for charter amendments in Congress has a different function from Executive Order 138, which gives more responsibility and autonomy to LGUs. The administration is currently studying the EO in line with the Supreme Court's 2018 Mandanas ruling, making sure that local governments will not struggle in implementing high-impact projects previously handled by the national government. Marcos also noted that his government will not be bound by a timetable that proposes to complete the transfers by 2024.
No. The charter change efforts are directed at the economic provisions on the Constitution, as far as I understand. And so that's what that is about.
The government eyes selling more smuggled agricultural goods at Kadiwa stores. This after the Sugar Regulatory Administration approved the sale of smuggled sugar at Kadiwa stores at 70 pesos per kilo. The Agriculture Department says it is considering selling smuggled rice next as they do not spoil easily. The DA also says the government will not have to spend as much for testing and storage of rice compared with other products.
Unlike yung other agriculture commodities na yung perishable, carrots, yung onions, mukhang mas mahirap na ito ay madaling ma-infest. No? Pag may infestation at may contamination at tapos na konsumo ng ating mga consumer, mas mahirap na may-resolve yung problema na yun.
The Holy Islam month of Ramadan begins today. This is upon the announcement of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARMM, noting that the moon was not sighted on Tuesday night, which signifies the beginning of fasting by today. The Ramadan marks the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, a time for Islams to reflect through praying, fasting, and studying of the Quran. The Ramadan ends with the Eid al-Fitr holiday set on April 12th. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.